Hi, welcome to this video. We're going to solve multi-step equations. And it's pretty much the same thing that we saw last lesson. The only different thing about it is that we're going to do a little longer, a little more procedures, okay? So if you see here, we have something different from last lesson. What is different is that we have parentheses right here. So that means that these equations need to be expanded first and then solved, okay? Remember, when we have a number exactly outside a parenthesis, it means that we need to multiply. But since we have two terms inside the parenthesis, that number is going to affect both of the terms that are inside the parenthesis. Right here, we have a 4. This one will affect the x and will also affect the 11. Okay, take a look at this one. We have a number right here that it's outside the parenthesis. That number or that variable in this case, it's not affected. Okay, what about this positive 1 right here? It's not inside the parenthesis, so it won't be affected. All right. Now, what we have to do here, this -5 needs to be multiplied by this 2x. So -5 times 2x, we multiply the numbers, -5 times 2, it's -10, and we leave the x, right? The variable remains the same. -5 times 3, it's -15, okay? And this -x, we only put it down because it's not affected by our multiplications. The -5 times x, it's 4x, and I'm sorry, 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 11, it's 44. This positive 1, it's also only put it down because it's not affected, okay? Now, what we have to do next, we have to combine the like terms, okay? Like terms, it means that we have to combine x's with x's and the ones without x without the ones without x. But we need to combine them when they're in the same side of the equal sign. If you see right here, we have -10x minus 15 minus x. Okay, so in this side of the equation, in this side of the equal sign, we can put together the -10x and the -x. We can combine them. And we combine them using the sign that they have. We don't change signs because we're not putting it in the other side of the equal sign, right? So we have a -10x right here minus x. Remember that when we have the x by itself, it's like it had a 1, right, in front of it. So it's a -10 minus 1. It's a -11. Why -11? Because both of them are negative, so they add, right? It's like you owe your mom 10 pesos and then you ask her for 1 peso more. So now you owe her 11, right? You owe her more. So we have 11x. And since we didn't do anything to the -15, we put it exactly the same underneath. Now, in this side of the equation, we can also combine something. The 4x, we cannot combine it because there's no other with x. But we can combine the 44 and the 1. Those two make a 45, right? 44 plus 1, it's 45. Now, when we have them, we can start what we did last lesson. We can put together the x's and the ones without x. So right here, it's a -11x. We add 11x in both sides of the equal sign, so we can get rid of these 11x, right? In this side of the equation, we only have the -15 left. And in the other side of the equation, we do the math. 4x plus 11x, 15x, plus 45. We didn't do anything to it, we just put it down. Now, this 45 needs to go to the other side, so we can leave the excess on this side. So this 45 is adding plus 45. We need to subtract 45 on both sides. This one is eliminated, so we have only the 15x left in this side, and in this other side, we do the math. -15 minus 45, it's -60. Remember, it's the same principle as we did with the other one. It's a -15. We owe our mom 15 pesos. And then we ask her for 45 more. So we owe her now 60 pesos. We owe her more. That's why we add them, right? Good. Now, the last step right here, we need to get rid of the 15 so we can leave the x by itself. So since right here it's multiplying, we need to divide by 15. Okay, we do it in this step. 15 divided by 15, and remember, everything you do in one side, you have to do it in the other one. So 15 by 15 is 1, so we just leave the x by itself. And negative 16 minus 15, we do the math, right? And it's negative 4. So my answer would be x is equal to negative 4. Good? Excellent. Now, let's do another example. Remember that you can pause this video and watch it as many times as you need. Okay? Let's see another example. If we see here, we have a negative 3, and it's going to be multiplying the 8x and the 12. And these two will affect the 3 and will affect the 3x, okay? So 3 times 8x, it's 24x, okay? And the 3 times 12 is 36. This negative 15x right here, it's not affected, so we just leave it the same way. Minus 15x. It's equal to 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times negative 3x, it's negative 6x. If you see, we can combine something in this side of the equation. We can combine the negative 15x with the positive 24x. How do we do that? We leave the same signs. 24x minus 15x, it's 9x, right? Plus 36. We didn't do anything with the 36, we just put it down. It's equal to, in this side of the equation, we cannot put anything together because one of them has an x and the other one hasn't. So we cannot combine them. So we just leave them the same way, okay? What we have to do next is we have to put the x's together. So we're going to add 6x. If I'm subtracting, I have to add. Remember, I add them in both sides. That one's eliminated. 9 plus 6 is 15x plus 36. It's equal to 6. Now this 36, it's adding, so we're going to subtract it. This one is eliminated, so we have 15x is equal to negative 30. Now the last step, since these two are multiplying, we have to divide. We divide by 15 both sides, so x is equal to negative 2. Okay, good. So this is another example that we did. We did it in class, just right here so you can remember. Let's do one more. Example number 2. Actually, we're going to do 2 more. In example number 2, it's pretty much the same thing. We only have a variation. Let's see what it is. This, it's a decimal point, but it works the same way, right? The decimal point, that the 0.3 is going to affect the 10 that it's inside and the negative 5x. Now, take a look at this. Right here, outside the parentheses, we don't have a number. We have a sign or a symbol, okay? So what that means is that this 31.5, it's not going to affect what's inside the parentheses. What is going to affect what's inside the parentheses? It's the sign, only the sign, okay? Let's see how this works. 0.3 times 10 is 3, minus 0.3 times negative 5, it's negative 1.5x, right? It's equal to, I told you, this it's not outside the parentheses, so it's not affected, 31.5. But what's affecting the ones inside the parentheses are the signs. So that negative is going to multiply the signs of the ones inside. Negative times 8x, negative 8x. And negative times a positive 9 will also be a negative 9. It's the same as we had a negative 1 right here, right? Negative 1 times 8, it's negative 8. And negative 1 times 9, it's negative 9. Okay, that's how it works. Good. Now, we need to see if we can combine something. In this side, we can't. We cannot combine anything. But if you see this side, we can, right? We can combine the ones without x. So right here, we leave the ones in this side of the equation the same, 1.5x and negative 1.5x and 3. And in this side, we have to combine what we can combine, like terms together. 31.5 minus 9 we got a 22.5 minus 8x, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to combine the ones that we can, or we're going to pass it to the other side. If it was a negative 8x, we have to put a positive 8x, so we can eliminate it. Now, 8x minus 1.5, we got a 6.5, right? 3 minus 6.5x. Oh, it's going to be plus because this one's bigger, right? Negative 1.5 plus 8. The 8, it's bigger than the negative 1.5, so that's why it makes it positive. Oh no, let me see what happened. Oh. I think I stopped sharing my screen. Here it goes again, I'm sorry. Everything was erased. Okay, I'll do it really fast. We multiply the 0.3 times 10 is 3, and then the 0.3 times negative 5 is 1.5x, equals to 31.5 minus 8x plus 9. No, minus 9. Minus 9. What we did is we left this one the same way. It's equal to 22.5 minus 8x. Okay, now I added 8x to both sides. Okay, this is what I did in the past. You can go back if you need to. And we have a 3 plus 6.5x. It's equal to 22.5. Okay, good. I was here. Now this 3 needs to go to the other side. So it's a positive. We need to put a negative so we can eliminate it. And then we have 6.5x. It's equal to 22.5 minus 3. It's 19.5. The last step, to leave the x by itself, we need to divide it by 6.5, right? We eliminate it. X is going to be equal to 3 when we divide it by 6.5. So if you see it's the same thing, the only thing that varies is this part. When we have a negative outside the parentheses, that negative sign will affect the signs inside the parentheses, okay? If it were a positive, the signs will remain the same, right? Because it would be like 1 times what's inside the parentheses. Good. Let's do one more example. In this example, we have fractions. Don't get scared. They're just fractions. They were pretty much the same way, right? So what we're going to do is this 1/2 will affect the 6x and will also affect the 4. And this negative 12 will affect the 1/6x and the 2. Okay, so let me show you a way to multiply whole numbers with fractions. This is really, really easy. What we need to do, we need to multiply the whole number times the numerator, the one in the top of the fraction, okay, the number on top of the fraction, and then divide it by the one in the bottom of the fraction, by the denominator. So 6 times 1, in this case right here, 6 times 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3x, minus, do the same thing. Negative 4 times 1, it's negative 4. Divided by 2, it's negative 2. And this 6x is not affected because it's outside the parentheses, so we leave it the same way. Now, the negative 12 times 1 will be negative 12. Divided by 6, it's a negative 2x. Minus, well, it's minus because it's negative 12 times 2. It's a negative 24. We need to see if we can put something together, and we can. 3x and 6x is 9x minus 2. It's equal to negative 2x minus 24. Good. This negative 2x, I'm going to pass it to the other side. So when I pass it to the other side, it changes the sign, right? Negative 2x is now a positive 2x. And 9 times 2, it's 11x minus 2. It's equal to negative 24. Now, this negative 2 is going to the other side, so it's going to turn into a positive 2. We eliminate it. We only have 11x in this side, and this side will remain with negative 22. Okay? Now, the last step, we need to divide. We need to divide by. Now, what we have to do, the last step, is we need to divide by 11 both sides, so we can leave the x by itself. So x is going to be negative 22 divided by 11 and negative 2. Okay? If you see, it's not that hard. You just have to remember that everything that you do in the one side of the equal sign, you have to do it in the other one. And it will be the opposite of what's doing right there. All right. So you can study these over and over again as many times as you need. And let me know if you have any questions and we can solve it together. Have a great day.